50 UN member states support Nazism. The Ukrainian Armed Forces will not be able to defeat Russia, according to a French statement. By passing sanctions, Germany and Poland continue to order oil from Russia after the ban. Detector Media did all the dirty fact-checking work for you. We have separated real facts from those of a parallel universe. My name is Vadym Miskyi. In the next 10 minutes, I will tell you about the most impressive examples of Kremlin propaganda, as well as about some international media that use unverified sources of information. Here we go. Countries that voted against the Russian resolution at the UN session support Nazism. These manipulative messages are being spread by Russian propaganda media. They claim that the resolution on combating the glorification of Nazism was proposed at the initiative of Russia at the UN General Assembly. As a result, they argue that countries that voted against this resolution are supporters of Nazi ideology. However, this is a distortion of facts. The fact that 50 UN member states voted against the resolution does not mean that they support Nazi ideology. Representative of Ukraine to the UN, Serhiy Kislitsa, noted that the resolution is yet another attempt by Moscow to justify the military invasion of Ukraine with the supposed aim of rooting out neo-Nazism in the country.
Ukraine's delegates stressed that operative paragraph 4 speaks about Moscow's endeavors to justify its military invasion and territorial aggression on the purported basis of eliminating neo-Nazism.
Negotiations with Russia are unlikely to result in an agreement, according to the UN Secretary-General.
I am not optimistic about the possibility of effective peace talks at the immediate future. I do believe that the military confrontation will go on, and I think we will have still to wait a moment in which serious negotiations for peace it will be possible. I don't see them in the immediate horizon. So we will go on trying to be useful, offering platforms of dialogue for these aspects to minimize suffering. But we have no illusions that a true peace negotiation would be possible in the immediate future. Of course, the bombardments that are taking place massively over electric infrastructure are something that is causing terrible trouble for the people.
And this is how Russian officials called for fighting the so-called Nazism in Ukraine.
Вот мы сражаемся с нацистами. Вот к ним никакой пощады, я считаю, быть не должно. И поэтому в этом отношении могу только процитировать, наверное, самые правильные в такой ситуации строки Катерины Симонова. Так убей же хотя бы одного. Так убей же его скорей. Сколько раз ты увидишь его, столько раз ты его и убей.
Propagandists are spreading this manipulation to discredit the international community. They claim that the UN supports Nazism. Let's continue with our favorite subject of Kremlin propaganda. Ukrainian military receive Nazi awards. This fake is being spread in pro-Russian Telegram channels. They wrote that soldiers of the 92nd Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine were supposedly awarded steel crosses similar to the Iron Crosses, which were awarded to the worst cutthroats in the Wehrmacht. Propagandists claim that the Ukrainian awards have a similar design. This is false. The steel cross decoration has nothing to do with the Nazi one. The modern award was created based on the design of the Iron Cross of the Ukrainian People's Republic Army, which was created in 1920, long before Hitler came to power in Germany. According to Stop Fake, later on, the Wehrmacht also introduced an award called the Iron Cross. However, it is wrong to think that this military order exclusively belongs to the Nazis. In fact, the word was originally introduced in 1813 in the Kingdom of Prussia. After the First World War, the Weimar Republic cancelled all previous German awards. But the Iron Cross was restored in 1939 by the Nazis with the swastika added to it. In modern Germany, it is allowed to wear the Iron Cross of the Second World War, although without the swastika. By the way, Volodymyr Zelensky brought US President Joe Biden an award from a Ukrainian serviceman from Bakhmut. The commander of a HIMARS battery received the Cross of Combat Merit for his participation in battles in the hottest area of resistance to the Russian offensive.
That is one.
Oh, God love you.
Yes, that is from him, and I have the list. He wrote the list. Yes, I didn't read, Mr. President. I can't read. It's not it's in Ukrainian language, but here the translation. It's from him.
And his name is, I have his name, I could contact him?
Yes. Pavlo. Так.
Well, undeserved, but much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you.
Promoting the claims about Nazi symbols, Russian propagandists continued to use the same old talk about the supposed fight against Nazism in Ukraine. However, they cannot fool the world with accusations of Ukrainian Nazism. It is Putin who is often being compared to Hitler because of his manic desire to capture new territories. For example, Vice President of the European Commission, Franz Timmermans, believes that Russian President Putin is facing the same situation as Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler faced in 1943, when he had already lost the war, but it was still far from over. According to the Vice President of European Commission, the only thing that can change Russia's direction is the realization that the West does not give up whatever happens on the battlefield. The situation of the armed forces is disappointing, and Ukraine will not be able to defeat Russia. This was supposedly stated by France. Russian propaganda is spreading this disinformation with reference to an article in the French business media La Tribune. However, this is a manipulation. The article, written by an anonymous group of analysts called MAS, does not contain any statements about the miserable state of the Ukrainian armed forces. Fact-checkers from Insider Project pointed this out. The article discusses whether Ukraine can defeat Russia on the battlefield by liberating the entire territory to the 1991 borders by military means. The authors of the French publications are convinced that it can't, because it is necessary to take a realistic look at this war and to offer security guarantees not only to Ukraine but also to Russia. Recently, French President Emmanuel Macron suggested security guarantees for Russia. He also pointed out the need for negotiation between Kyiv and Moscow.
I think it's important to convey the message that this is the Ukrainians to decide that. The only way to find a solution would be through negotiations. I don't see a military option on the ground.
Are you engaged in any back-channel negotiations with Russia and Ukraine?
I'm never engaged in back-channel process. I always endorse what I do. Each time I spoke with President Putin, I just made it clear and public and well-known. I made it clear before with President Zelensky. I made it clear after. So I have no back-channel discussion. I have regular discussion with Russia.
EU countries criticized the words of the French president about security guarantees for the terrorist country. In particular, the Estonian foreign minister said that countries that need security guarantees are those under attack by Russia, and that the West should assist Ukraine by providing weapons.
We need to contribute more and immediately give new deliveries of weapons to Ukraine they immediately need. Tanks, air defense, long-range missiles. Secondly, NATO members made the pledges how to support additionally the Ukrainian energy system to survive. So Ukraine will win this war. Russia will lose.
Russian propaganda uses this kind of manipulations to assure the audience that Ukraine is not going to win the war, and that Kyiv is seemingly losing its Western support. Germany and Poland continue to buy oil from Russia after the embargo. This fake has been spread by Kremlin propagandists, citing the head of Russian Transneft.
Если вспомнить всю истерию в польском сейме, да, такая она, в общем-то, жесткая, достаточно русофобская, шумная, скандальная. Мы отказываемся от вашей нефти. Они первыми начали, значит, об этом заявлять. Потом к ним подключились переработчики в Германии, что нам тоже не нужна ваша нефть. Объявили, что не будут брать с 1 января у России нефть. А к нам пришли заявки сейчас от польских потребителей на следующий год 3 миллиона тонн дайте нам. И на декабрь 360 тысяч тонн. И на первый квартал Германия уже подала заявку, значит, тоже дайте.
Berlin denied the statement of the head of Transneft. A spokesman for the German Ministry of Economy told Deutsche Welle that Berlin will not be buying Russian oil in 2023.
A report suggesting that Germany has purchased Russian crude oil fails as a result of negotiation between the refinery owners and representatives of Kazakhstan. This refinery has booked the corresponding capacities of the oil pipeline system for Kazakhstan oil since January. Thus, it is not a purchase order for oil, but a reservation of capacity for oil transportation.
The statement of the head of Transneft was also denied by the Polish oil refining company Orlen. They will not extend the long-term contract for oil deliveries from Russia. Orlen buys oil from Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Angola, and Norway. The goal of the propagandists is to show that sanctions aimed at stopping the purchase of Russian oil are just formality and that Russian oil cannot be replaced, and to hide the fact that the embargo on Russian oil, which came into force on December 5, can cause losses to the Kremlin. Sanctions against the Kremlin, military support for Kyiv, all this brings Ukraine's victory closer. We are grateful to our Western partners for their support in 2023. Together we will defeat the terrorists.